Well, hello everybody. This is W. Simpson, aka Bug Eater 64, and today we're going to do my very first flight VR in X-Plane 11. This is X-Plane 11 version 2.11.20 VR1. So it's not going to be perfect, not even going to be my very best VR or flight video, and we're flying the VSKYLABS DC-3. This is version 2.5c as in Charlie, which is one they just released that uses it's VR friendly, VR ready. So we're going to be going to do that. We're going to be flying from Seattle Tacoma International up to British Columbia, Canada, to Vancouver International Airport. Not a long flight, but let's get her started. So here we are in the aircraft. Now, unfortunately, one of the things I've got to set right up front is the fact this is an audio dub. Had some problems when I was setting up my audio and so on. And as you can see, my Bandicam, I was trying to do some experimentation. Well, it didn't go well. So the audio for my voice just wasn't up to par. It didn't work well. And unfortunately, being in VR, I did not see the Bandicam sign telling me that it couldn't copy some of the audio. So unfortunately, through the beginning of this, probably about 19 minutes worth of video, that darn Bandicam is going to be up in the corner. So please forgive me for that. I just didn't want to throw away the video. It was a nice flight. Things went well. Also, in VR, one of the things, you saw that little checkboard that I had in the cockpit. Well, when you go outside the aircraft in VR, and I'm going here, you can see how we can move around the airplane using the Oculus joystick. Just taking a look at the outside of our airplane. DC-3 with the Air America Due livery on it. That's my personal livery. But when you're backing off a little bit, you can see that little chart. And that's a bug that hopefully that X-Plane is working on, and hopefully will make so that when we do outside views, we're not going to be stuck looking at the little pilot chart. So that's our airplane. I'm an old piston head, y'all. Anybody who's seen my videos knows that I love older airplanes. And so here we are in the cockpit. Battery coming on, so we'll get some battery power. I've already got the flight plan set in. I also use a third-party software called Plane Command. In VR, it is an immense help. But, again, this is the first plane I've used it on. And so, it's a learning curve. I'm still learning things, especially in VR. This being my very first ever flight video of VR. And I hope you'll all take that into consideration. And be kind in your comments. But I would very much like to know any comments and helpful ideas that I could use to do a better job, because I want to make sure that in the future especially that I give a fine or quality product that is enjoyable to watch. So as we go through working to get the engine started, you can see the controller there. We use that. We actually can put that up to the switches, and I either turn my wrist or I click the trigger to punch the buttons. And again, I'm sorry for that Bandicam banner being up there. Like I said, I can't see it in my VR headset. We'll go to the main menu here. Like I said, this was a learning flight for me. And here I'm just checking on my plane command. Alrighty, so go to the main menu. And go to flight configuration. Alright, just double checking. Let's see. Go to joysticks. And make sure that we've got our VR positioned. That's nice thing about X-Plane 11, you can make individual HOTAS configurations for each individual aircraft if you want. I don't do that, but for VR I made a special pilot VR selection, which makes using VR much easier for me, especially the way it is having to use the controller right now. There's certain switches and so on that are hard to reach when you're also using a HOTAS in front of you because you keep running into things. So by using my key settings, my HOTAS settings, I can move around the cockpit.
Engine 1 is already stopped.
Okay. And that's one of the confusions about, I asked Plane Command to do something, and it, like I said, first time we've used it, it did not understand my command. So that happens a couple times.
Parking brakes set.
Thank you. And okay, now we're going to set the lock the tail wheel, which makes steering on the airplane much easier on the ground.
Tail wheel is locked.
Okay, so right engine magnetos both on, left engine magnetos both on, and we'll go ahead and throw the strobes on, nav lights on, right engine fuel pump, and right engine start. See if it goes. Come on. And left engine fuel pump on. So we've got a good engine on right engine. Now let's see about our left engine. And left engine is spooling up. Turn the fuel pump off. Generator's on. And we'll get all our lights on and get prepared to go. Put our de-icers on since we're up in the north. Check our controls, elevators, rudder. Now the VSKYLABS DC-3, the autopilot in it is the original, very basic, I think it was a Sperry autopilot. So there's a couple things I've done to try to use it, but this is a fairly short flight, so I may try to use it to do like altitude hold and heading hold, but that's about it. It cannot follow a programmed flight plan. So, this is a very much a hands-on airplane. So we've got just about everything set up, so won't be long, we'll be on our way.
Brakes set. Brakes already released.
Okay, very good. So brakes are released, we can actually start to move this airplane. And I ended up with a bit of an issue here where brakes weren't really releasing. And actually had to go back into X-plane settings and reverse the toe brake setup. See, I'm trying to move the parking brake and I could not get it to move. So, and in the position it's in, it's supposed to be released. So we go back in and played with it some more, and then went back into the settings and inverted or reversed the toe brake setting on my rudder pedals, and that fixed the problem. You'll see that here shortly. Okay, setting flaps to takeoff position.
Brakes already released.
And because of the audio problems, you could not hear me giving the command
Parking
for
brake set.
plane command. You can hear her response. Now you can also change that voice. There is a man's
Parking brakes
voice.
Already released.
I preferred the woman's voice. Okay, so then the brakes sudden release and we take off, and we're gonna actually fly through the building, but what the heck. Like I said, in the future, things will get better, I promise. And I will learn. I am teachable. I might be a tired old gray-haired fart, but I'm still teachable. And at this point, we're still having some issues with the braking because it seemed to be taking more power than necessary to move the aircraft. And I was afraid that I was not going to be able to get to takeoff speed. So once I get out here on the taxiway a little bit, I went ahead and stopped the airplane and made some adjustments, like I said, in settings, and that seemed to fix the issue. And after that, everything went fine. And hopefully, like I said, we'll be able to eliminate that little checklist that's sitting in the middle of the picture. Now finally what happened was when I was adjusting the brakes and so on, I happened to look outside the VR at my mirror image, and that was when I saw the Bandicam page up there, and I was like, so once I realized it was easy to get rid of, but I was so shocked that it was still up there. And just like when I first started using Track IR, and now I'm using VR, I'm going to have to realize that when I move my head, every movement is emphasized in the video. And there you see, I finally got rid of that page. So things are better now that we can start moving to the runway and get on our flight. But, you know, and I could have edited all that out of there, but it happened starting so early in the video, and so much of that video there were things I wanted to show and share. So, you know, just didn't have the opportunity. Okay, we'll move out onto the runway. And we'll hold our brakes, get ready to go. Double check all the switches. And double check, make sure our gyro is set. And here you can see some of the issues trying to get to the switch. There we go. Yeah. set. There we go. Okay. 530s are set. They look okay. I think they're right. Activate that. Yeah, set on GPS. Okay. Like I said, I might try to use the autopilot, but in this airplane, it's really doesn't work. So the Sperry does. It does work, but it's very hands-on, and basically it's a heading and altitude hold type autopilot. Just very rudimentary, but it does work. And periodically we get a little bit of the jitters, but it's not bad. It's working quite well right now. So, engine's up, brakes released, start moving down, airspeed's alive. And rotate.
Landing gear going
Comes off
up.
the ground all by herself, really, once you get up to speed. Thank you. Landing gear coming up, and shortly thereafter, here comes the flaps coming up. Nice smooth takeoff. And we can all wave goodbye to Seattle-Tacoma International Airport as we head our way to north to Vancouver, British Columbia, and Vancouver International. And we'll leave the landing lights on because we don't need a lot of altitude on this flight. The highest point is a mountain that's only 5,000 feet. So, yeah, we'll be a little higher than that, but we'll be under 10,000 feet for this flight. So we're in the air. She's flying nice. She trims nice. You can get to the point where basically you just, two fingers on the yoke, and she'll fly just fine. This flight was a little bit more difficult because we did have some crosswinds. So, but overall, it was a very nice flight. Very uneventful. Pretty location. All the ground textures are rendered by Ortho4XP, which is again third-party software that is free of charge on the org. My next flight in VR, I think in X-Plane, I'll probably try to do using my OBS and see if that works a little bit better at eliminating the judder, which is could be caused by the Oculus Mirror program. But we shall see. Right now we're just flying north to Vancouver. Now the total distance in this flight was like 110 nautical miles. But like I said, the flight was very uneventful. And I hope you'll be understanding that this is, like I said, my first VR flight using VR with the X-Plane. So it's my learning flight in my infancy in VR, using the Oculus Rift and the Oculus Rift controller. And we're heading in the right direction, so that's good. Okay, so we'll be getting pretty close to Vancouver now. Let's see, I think we might be able to just see it there. Just ahead of us. And we're going to fly over, make a left turn, head out over the ocean, and turn around and come back to land on runway, I believe it's 8. Runway 8 right. Yeah, you can see it there below us. That's Vancouver International. And that's where we're going to land. And we're making our turn to the left, basically a downwind leg. And we're going to do an abbreviated base turn on the final. We're going to go out beyond the breakwater. You can see there in front. And then we'll make a left turn and just circle around to our final.
Landing gear going
our
down.
Flaps coming down to the first position, and landing gear is coming down now. And here we are making our turn onto our base leg. Like I said, it's going to be an abbreviated short base. We turn on to final. Glide path actually looks very good. Yeah, the thing with the DC-3, it doesn't take a lot of runway, so very slow. Flaps to full. A little bit of a frame rate stutter. It's a little different than judder. And we are down. Just let her slow down by herself. And tail wheel touchdown, and we can just ease off the runway. A little bit better control there, pilot. Not bad at all, though. So, we are down and safe. So we would like to welcome everybody to Vancouver International, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. We'll pull up here to the gate, shut her down, and then we will take another look at the landing. Why? Because I want to. The landing was so smooth, I really did not realize we had touched down until the tail wheel started to drop. We were slowing down and the plane wasn't dropping anymore, and I realized I must be on the ground. And actually, that's kind of a good thing. More than once I have bounced this old bird while trying to land. Alright, we're going to park it.
Parking brake set.
Thank you. And at this point we'll go ahead and set the replay, which is all done with a controller. So, interesting setup. And in the future I'll do a better job of trying to show how that controller works in VR. It's kind of nifty. So, let's take a look at that landing, even with our checklist hanging out. Turn off those notifications too. I'm going to really have to work on holding my head still, especially on the exteriors. Got to treat it like a camera. The right runway. Just waiting for the shadow to catch up with the airplane. Shadows are getting ready to join up. And bingo, we have touchdown. Just ease the throttles back, let her slow down by herself. Don't have to apply brakes. Tail wheel eases down by itself. Down and safe. Smooth as silk. I'll take it. Anyway, I hope you did enjoy the video. Thank you for your understanding. I said this is my very first time doing an X-Plane 11 native VR video. I promise you they will improve as I learn different things for some very smart and helpful streamers. So until next time, safe flying.